how you shifted to being AI native, but it's also worth noting that you're around kind of like the pre, chat GPT kind of era, right?
Yeah.
And the new kind of capabilities. So could you kind of walk us through, how you've approached that AI and kind of shifted to being more AI native?
It's rare to see a big platform shift or a technology shift while you're building a company. And one of the biggest learnings for me is, leaning into the uncertainty and ambiguity as much as possible. So what did that mean for us? First of all, like the cool thing about AI and ChatGPT is it's kind of your own tutor. So even as confused as I was, I would use it to educate me. Like, what's an LLM? What's a data center? I don't understand any of these things, quite frankly. I feel like people don't admit that. I had no idea what anyone was talking about. And I would just go through, like, let's have conversations. Let's understand. That was one dimension that helped as I started getting a grasp of what's going on and why this is a big deal. Second, I think you want to think about how this could impact your business and your customers. And again, the cool thing about maybe the way we were set up is we're a YC company. I've angel invested a bunch, and we've always tried to position ourselves as someone who would help new startups. So one of the weirdest things that was really crucial to us getting smarter about AI faster was any startup that wants to pitch us, instead of like, oh, leave me alone, I'm busy. No, like all of you pitch me. I'm going to be on the first call. What the hell do you do? I don't understand. Why is this different? And what you learn about early stage founders, if they're doing it right, is they just have this magical ability to intensely try to explain what they do to you, even if they're rambling for like an hour the first time. If you're willing to ask the right questions, they will start educating you. And so for me, it was a mix of being that annoying CEO in the company that would just start dropping, like, this is a new startup, this is a new article, this is a new thing I read. And everyone in the company, including like people I deeply respect, were like, oh, this is Silicon Valley's new stupid hype cycle. This is like crypto. This is like VR. And it's almost like this thing where you feel resistance. But then as you start grounding in like real use cases, and that's why the startups were interesting. Hey, here's a startup wants to demo how document processing can be better. And we have a team that does 5 hours a day of document processing. And then they're like, oh, wow. Oh, shit. Like this is different, right? And that took a while, by the way. Things were not, you had ChatGPT. It wasn't like that. You didn't have all these startups that took, I would say, I don't know, 6 to 15 months. I don't even know, until it was just like every week there's a new startup that's claiming to do something where we have human staff and where we thought it wasn't possible, like voice AI to negotiate with trucking companies, or, LLMs to think of different variables for quoting shipments or understanding where the market is, or things like freight audit and pay. So for me, it was just like, felt like a slow journey. And then I looked back and spoke with friends who hadn't done any of this, and I felt like I was 3 years ahead of them. And all we had done was feel like a complete idiot all the time. I don't understand this term, ask questions, speak with the startups, have them pitch our teams, have your team tell you you're an idiot, you're a hypey CEO who's just reading stuff about AI, and I went through this with crypto and VR and you're wrong. And then keep pushing that information and try to ground yourself on things that impact the business, like make humans more efficient, make your customer value prop better. And then I think at some point when you've seen enough of it, you start drawing patterns of, okay, this is what the technology can largely do, and it's getting better. And these are the 5 to 15 areas of the business that I think it's going to have an impact. Then you can start taking actions. Like, am I systematically creating a culture where my team gets it, they're bought in? Or do we have this muscle of evaluating these new technologies and using them so everyone can be more efficient? And then you start seeing these little things, like the same people that were criticizing, oh, look at Devin AI, it's like a terrible product, it makes all these mistakes. Those same people 4 months later were like, oh my God, I used Cursor and I just saved 5 hours of my day and this is insane and I don't need to ever hire anyone again. So it was like finding those moments of people getting it, and then it starts permeating in the culture. It was super difficult. And then finally, and I know I'm saying a lot here, the holy grail, I think, as a CEO is that you understand this stuff so deeply and you've seen it play out in certain parts of the business. Now you have to sit and think, how does this change my value prop and my business strategy so that I can keep up with the startup who's pitching someone right now to be in my space as the AI native player, right? And I can give you an answer. For us, it would be a little long, but long story short, you need to have an opinion on that. And I think the only way you get there is by understanding what people are saying who are at the forefront of the text. This is what can be done that couldn't be done in the past. And once you get that, you have to modify your business strategy, which is uncomfortable because it might mean everything you're doing is wrong, or it might mean you have some structural advantages that you have to explain and learn how to leverage with your team, your employees, your investors, et cetera.